class.
Good morning, ma'am.
So it's been a wonderful day for us as new learnings, and I have prepared exciting and engaging activities. So before we proceed to our topic here, because this quarter is all about the Earth and life science, today we'll be focusing on the plate tectonics. So before we proceed to our topic, we will have a prayer first. So everybody, please stand. Bow down your head. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those sins of us. Don't bring us into test, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So again, good morning, class.
Good morning,
Can I
ma'am.
have a seat? So, as you see here, our topic is all about the plate tectonics. Now, here is our learning objectives. So, learning objectives, you learners should be able to describe the different types of the plate boundaries, explain the different processes that occur along the plate boundaries. But before that, we can have here the set classroom etiquettes. So every day, I remind you of this for you to be prepared in our class. So first here is prepare your learning modules, lecture notebooks, 3 pieces of paper, and writing materials. Number 2, we have here the raise your hand if you have some questions or if you want to resign. And number 3 is participate actively in our class discussion and activities, as I prepared exciting and engaging activities today. And attendance will be checked through your answer sheet. So later we're going to have an exam, and that will serve as your attendance later for today's class. And now, here is the main topic, which is the plate tectonics. And we have the subtopics. We have here the plate boundaries and, plate boundaries, processes, and landforms along the plate boundaries. So, before we proceed to our lesson proper, we will gonna have a review first. So last time, we were able to discuss the distribution of volcanoes, earthquake epicenters, and major mountain belt. So here, most active volcanoes nowadays are found at, what is that so-called? Yes, anyone?
Ring of fire.
Yes, in the ring of fire. So the ring of fire, also referred to as the Circum-Pacific Belt, is a path along the Pacific Ocean characterized by active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes. So as you see here, this is the line where active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes is happening. So in the gift here, as you see the red one there, yes, that's what we call the ring of fire. And the next one is, can we generate energy from the volcano?
Yes.
So what kind of energy it is?
Geothermal energy.
And we can generate it into
Electricity.
very good. So I know that you can answer that because you have listened to. And now we will proceed to warm up for the discussion. We will have first a game. So let's play, and the title is Look What Have You Done. So let me fix first, and so look at here, class. So here in our game, we will have a look what have you done. So it will have a cause and effect things. And the cause here is the plate movements, and the effect is that what you're going to answer. So here is the direction. So take a look to the pictures carefully. Pick up the possible effect or effects of the plate tectonic movements. Choose the letter or the letters of the correct answer. But, wow! So whoever answered correctly, you will have a plus points to the score of exam that we're going to take later. So, please participate actively if you want to have a plus 5 points to your final score later. So number 1 here will answer. So here is the number 1. So as you see there, the cause here is this, and this is the earth plate, and the plate movement is here. As you see there, that the arrow here is going on an opposite direction, side opposite direction. So what do you think will be the geological event that can be formed here? So as you see, what kind of geological forms here is happening here? What do you think? Take a look carefully.
B, ma'am.
B? Let's see if the letter B is the answer. Wow, very good. Okay, keep your 5 points later. Next, number 2 will answer. Oh, now, as you see in the picture here, the cause here is the direction of the plate movement is toward each other. Okay, as you see here. But the other one sinks down and the other one slides up. So, as you see in the picture, these are the effects, the possible effect. So, what kind of geological event will be formed? You think?
B.
B? Do you think letter B?
C, ma'am.
C. Okay, let's see. Let's see, the letter C. Oh, very good. Keep your 5 points later. Very good. Wow. I think because of course the answer is really obvious, right? So you see here, volcano. This is a volcano, right?
Yes.
Next is now the plate movement's direction is on the opposite direction now. Here, the arrow here is going here, and the arrow is going there. Parang north-south sila. And what do you think is the answer, the possible effect of this plate movement?
B, letter B, ma'am.
Letter
B.
Letter B? Yes. What kind of form is this? It's just like a fold? Yes. Let's see if the answer is letter B. Oh, very good. You get 5 points. So, next number?
4.
Yes. Number 4. Oh, it's the same question with the number 2. But, the possible effects here change. What kind of possible geological event will be formed? Do you think?
Letter A.
Letter A only?
And C, ma'am. Letter A and C.
Letter A and C. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Oh, very good. Letter A and C. It's just like a fold here. And here is I think it's a mountain.
Mountain English.
And the last number here, we have the same as the number 3. The direction is in opposite direction. So what do you think will be the answer?
Letters B and A.
B and A. So it's kind of same, right?
Yes.
It's kind of same. Perfect. So let's see if it is letter A and B. Wow, very good. So keep that 5 points later. So the students are very good in hula-hula, I think. But of course, this is just a very obvious answer. Okay? So we have here the left one here. And the direction is moving away from each other. Now, this is what we call the divergent boundaries. So, divergent boundary is a plate boundary where two plates move away from each other. Rifting causes seafloor spreading. Just you see there the picture. Just like, no? Nagata na sila. Here. Parang may, there's a large crack between these plates. Now we have here the convergent boundary. As I said earlier, that plates move toward each other. Now the convergent boundary is defined as places where plates crush or crunch together or subduct. Or the other one is sinks under. Now this is the geological event that can be formed in the convergent boundaries. And the next one is, and the last one here is transform boundaries. Now, transform boundaries is defined as a plate boundary when two plates move past each other in an opposite direction. So, as you see here, you cannot hold it like a crop, but I think it's a crop here.
The land between them.
They just slides in each other. Slide. Yes. And Don, thank you for listening and participating actively. And all questions were answered correctly. So keep your 5 points later. Oh, very good. My students are very good. And now we're back here in our main slide. So, you participated actively. So, I was generated a question here. So, what are geologic processes will occur because of the plate movement?
Tsunamis.
Tsunamis. If the oceanic crust will move.
Major landslide.
Yes, landslide. It happens in the continental crust. So next here is, so as you heard the word plates earlier, right? So what are plates? So the Earth's crust and upper mantle. So in the upper mantle there, we can find the lithosphere, are broken into sections called plates. So that is called what we call plates. Just to see here, this is the Earth, right? And the parts of the Earth here. The red one is a solid inner core here, and the brown one here is the metallic liquid outer core. And this is the mantle. And on the upper part of the mantle, or between the crust and the upper part of the mantle, we can find here the lithosphere. Here. This is the lithosphere here. So plates move around on the top of the mantle like rafts. So they like floating. Yes. And a section of the lithosphere that slowly moves over the asthenosphere, carrying pieces of continental and oceanic crust. So what is the theory of the plate tectonics? So as you see and hear the title, the topic I mean that I said earlier is about the plate tectonics, right? So what is the theory of the plate tectonics? So the theory of the plate, so the theory that pieces of Earth's lithosphere are in constant motion, driven by convection currents in the mantle. So as you see here, there is a convection current here in the mantle that make the lithosphere moves in a constant motion. So plates move slowly in different direction, which cause different geologic events like earthquake, volcano, and etc. This you see here, this is the plates. Next is the plate boundaries. So in our game earlier, we have heard the plate boundaries. So what is the plate boundary? So it is the edges of the Earth's plates where they meet. So extended deep into the lithosphere, and that break or cracks here, as you see the red one here, it is called a fault. So fault breaks in Earth's crust where rocks have slid past each other. So did you experience the earthquakes, right?
Yes.
So as they said, if you are near or in the fault line, it is very dangerous because that is where the two plates meet. So that's called the fault here. And each type of the plate boundaries generate distinct geologic processes and landform. So these are the three types of boundaries. So now here, we can see here the divergent boundary, convergent boundary, and the transform boundary. So first we're gonna discuss the divergent boundaries. So divergent boundary defined as a plate boundary where two plates move away from each other. So drifting causes seafloor spreading. So as you see the blocks here in the table. So this is like a picture out of about, it represents the two crusts here. So as defined there that two plates move away from each other. So the process is just like this. And the plate is moving, because the plate is moving away from each other, right? So how is the rock put at the divergent boundaries? So rocks get thin in the middle as it pulled apart. So, and the stress is called tension. So to picture out, for you to understand, picture out that you have a two friends, right? Two friends. So the other friend wants to go hiking to the mountain, and the other one wants to go swimming in the ocean, right? And you, in the middle of them, will pull you away from each other. So what do you think will happen to you? So you're gonna have a cold word stress. So if you are stressed, then your two friends will have a tension. So that was you call the divergent boundaries. So what happens when the rock snaps at the stress of tension? So a normal fault, it will break earth crust. So rock drops down as it breaks. So wala na lang, di ba? Ano matabo sa imo? Siyempre, ma-break again if it is continued. And what happens next to the divergent boundaries? So geologic feature of event. So it may form reef valleys on the continents and seafloor spreading on the ocean. So helpful hints. So here is the hint. Divergent is like dissecting or dividing. So you see here in the GIF here, diverge means to divide, right? Here's the two plates moving away from each other, and it will form like a mid-ocean wave. Yes. So the features of divergent boundary. So it will form mid-ocean ridges, reef valleys, fissures, volcanoes. So here is the example. So in the ocean here. And convergent boundaries. So this is the second plate boundaries we will going to discuss. The convergent boundary is defined as a plate boundary where two plates move toward each other. So boundaries between two plates are colliding. Now we're back here. Now if these two plates is colliding and moving toward each other, so it will also create a stress called compression. Now, we go back to the example earlier that you have two friends, right? Now, your two friends agreed the other decision. Now, they're pushing you toward each other na naman. Because the other one agreed that, okay, let's go hiking na lang. And the other one is, swimming is more exciting. Now, they're pushing you toward each other. Now, it will also create a stress, right? And that stress is called compression. So, you think you can breathe in the compression?
No.
No. It will create a stress for you. Now, convergent boundary is the places where plates crush or crunch together. Or the other one is sinks under. So, it's just like that. Ang crush, diba, though, it's like, because of the compression, so naga-crush lang. So if this plate is continue moving toward each other, so it will create a crush here, right? Or if the other one is less dense and the other one is more dense, it will just the more dense one will just subduct or sinks in, like this will form like this. So yes, we have here the three types of convergent boundaries. So the type 1 here is ocean plate colliding with the less dense continental plate. So it is a oceanic and continental convergence. So volcanoes occur at subduction zone. So what is the subduction zone? So subduction zone is the process by which oceanic crust sinks beneath a deep ocean trench and back into the mantle at a convergent plate boundary. So next is the type 2, which is the ocean plate colliding with the ocean plate. So it is a oceanic convergence. So the less dense plate slides under the more dense plate, creating a subduction zone called a trench. So what kind of the famous trench here in the Philippines, near the Philippine archipelago?
Marianas Trench.
Yes, we have the Marianas Trench. So I think it is the longest and the deepest trench in the world. So we have here the type 3, which is continental plate colliding with another continental plate, and it will have a collision zone. So a place where folded and truss-folded mountains form. So I think it is the effect of the crunching or the compression, and it may form mountain ranges. So mountain ranges, these are the folded mountain ranges. Like, what is the famous mountain ranges?
Himalayas.
Yes, Himalayas mountain ranges. I think it is the longest mountain ranges that form in the earth crust. So, what happens when the rock is squeezed from the stress of compression? It will result into a
Reverse fall.
yes, reverse fall. So, the rock is forced upward and as it is squeezed. So, just like this. And helpful hints. So, here is the hint. So, convergent is like connecting boundaries. it may work like a trash compactor smashing the rock. So, here is the GIF of the convergent boundaries. So, the other one here, this is the oceanic plate, and this is the continental plate. So, as it moves toward each other, this oceanic plate, which is the more dense one, it will just sink down here. And the other one is just going toward each other. And it will form some geological event there. Now, here is in our last plate boundary, which is the transform boundaries. So, a plate boundary where two plates move past each other in an opposite direction. So, as you see here, this is the arrow, is going there, and the arrow is going here. The two plates there. So, it's like, here in the actual representation, it's just like, the movement of transport boundaries is just like moving in an opposite direction, right? So, like this. So, how is the rock broken at transform boundaries? So, rock is pushed into opposite direction for sideways, but no rock is lost. As you see here, that it's just sliding each other in an opposite direction, and no crust or rocks is lost. So, again, it will form a stress to us. So, the stress is called shearing. So, as you see here, this crust is moving toward here. So, what happens next at transform boundaries? So, it may cause an earthquake because it moves. So, when the rock snaps from the pressure. So, famous fault at transform boundary is the San Andreas Fault in California. So, this is the San Andreas Fault in California. I think it is the longest one fault in the California. So, what happens when the rock is sheared or cut from the stress of shearing? It will result to a strike slip fault. So, rocks on each side of fault slip past each other as they break. So, the hint here is shearing means cutting. So, shear or like seesaw. And transform boundaries run like trains going past each other in a different direction and they shake the ground. So, now, we have here the did you know? So, are you curious about how Philippines is born? Geologically speaking?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes? So, here is the explanation how the Philippine archipelago was born. So, the Philippine archipelago was formed by volcanic eruption from under the sea and the buckling of the Earth's crust when two tectonic plates collided about 65 million years ago. So, ang Philippine archipelago gali formed by the volcanic eruptions. So, when the world's largest and much heavier Pacific plate moved under the smaller Philippine plate, the Philippine plate buckled under the tectonic pressure, pushing land masses. So, northern Luzon sat on the western edge of the Philippine plate, while the remaining island rested on the eastern edge of the Asiatic plate. So, here is the Philippine archipelago here. So, the southward movement of the Asian landmass formed the shallow China Sea and crumpled the edge of the continental shelf. The crest of the folds produced in the submerged ridge created the elongated mountain ranges of the northern Philippine island. Fissures formed and from the bottom of the immense ancient ocean. A vast amount of trapped molten material deep in the earth spewed up in horrendous volcanic eruption. So continuous volcanic activities push up and spewed forth billions of cubic meters of ash and molten lava, adding their enormous debris across the landscape. So, volcanic eruption just continued its activities until a lot of billions of cubic meters of ash and mountain lava has been spewed. So, island were formed and the Philippine archipelago was born. So, bunga pala tayo ng pagsabog. Pagsabog ng vulkan. So, that is for today's discussion. I hope you had learned a lot from the plate tectonics. So, I have a question here. If this event continues for millions of years, what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? Like, if this volcanic events continues spewing up billions of cubic meters of ash as this Philippine archipelago was born, so what do you think will happen million years after?
There's many islands will form because of the volcanic activities.
Yes, there's a lot of islands will form
Other landforms.
That will form. So, it just like continue lang nga nagabata ang ating earth by this volcanic eruption. So, as we finish the discussion, so we will gonna have first a quiz before we end this class. So, it is in a multiple choice. So, we have there the direction, choose the letter of the correct answer, and write it on your answer sheet. So, get your answer sheet there and answer these questions. So, these questions is very easy because, kumbaga, fresh pa sa ating mind to remember what is the answers of these questions. So, like number 1, the Earth's crust and the upper mantle are broken into sections. So, what is called? Plate boundaries, divergent or convergent. Like number 2, it is where the edges of the Earth's plates. And number 3, a plate boundary where the two plates move away from each other. Number 4, a plate boundary where two plates move toward each other. A plate boundary where two plates move past each other in opposite direction. Number 6, are you done with the number 5?
Yes, ma'am.
So here, it is number 6. It is formed by transform boundary. So what geologic event can be formed in a transform boundary? So, in number 7, it is a path along the Pacific Ocean characterized by active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes. So, sa review part natin, na-discuss natin dyan. And 8 to 10, name the 3 types of convergent boundaries.
Tapos na ako, ma'am.
Wow! And for those who finish already with the quiz, you can copy this in your notebook. Assignment, research on the role of the hotspot in the formation of chain of the volcanoes in Hawaii. So write it in your homework, as your homework. So, are you done, class?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Please pass your answer sheet here because that will serve as your attendance for today's class. So, that was for today's discussion. I hope you enjoy a lot and learn a lot from our discussion. So, see you tomorrow. Goodbye, class.
Goodbye, Mom.
So, let's have a prayer first before we leave. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Amen. Angel of God, our guardian angel, to bless our peace. Every day that we satisfy and encourage and guide. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. God bless, class.